is up, my MMA true believers? I'm Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I had the pleasure of speaking with the man that earned a massive win in Brasilia, Brazil recently when he upended former number 3 ranked flyweight Jussier Formiga. He is also a person that has a unique story to tell on the coronavirus affecting MMA events. He was on the first empty arena card in UFC history, and what might be the last event they're gonna do for a while. So he is the assassin, baby, or maybe now he is a full-fledged assassin teenager. He is UFC flyweight title contender Brandon Moreno. Brandon, my man, congratulations on the win, and thanks for some time to talk the fight and the different world we're living in right now.
I know, man. Thank you so much for your time. Nice to talk with you again. So yes, a crazy 5 week there in Brasilia, but I mean, the mission is complete right now, and I'm here in my house, safe with my family.
And I wanted to ask that because with so much to talk about regarding the win, but first I wanted to talk about all the stuff that went down before you even stepped into the octagon. All of you, that got to be on that card were very lucky because it will be the last card, like I mentioned, for a while, for the next few weeks at least. What were those last few days leading up to the fight like? Media day was canceled for you guys, and then outside of what you had to deal with, international flights in different countries are getting closed down, schools and businesses closed down, and the UFC still trying to put on this show despite it all. Were those last few days some of the most stressful you've ever had because you're cutting weight at the same time, and at any point, even on fight day, did you think, I don't know if I'm going to fight, this fight may not happen?
Man, actually, you say it. All the strange situation started in Thursday, the last Thursday, with all the media canceled. Then the weigh-ins canceled, the ceremonial weigh-ins, and then the fight with no people, no crowd. Everything was so weird, in the moment when you go to the octagon and you don't see the people, they start to feel like weird. But in the moment when the door of the octagon is closed, all my mind was in Formiga,
Yeah.
But before that, I was a little bit stressful because I was a little bit scared first because I went to Brasilia to fight. I do all my fight camp. I do all my diet. I stay healthy, ready for this amazing fight, a huge opportunity for my future. And if I don't had the fight, it was very, very sad for me. So I was scared. I don't want to get sick there in Brasilia because I want to go back to my hometown, to Tijuana. If I get a little bit sick, even if it's not a coronavirus, it's just a little, sick. Maybe the government of Brasilia don't let me go to my house. So I was a little bit scared. Was a great experience because you can see how is your mind, if it's focused or not. So it was a good experience. It's not experience for too much times. So just for one time. And
what was the communication like with the UFC staff, like on Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Were they, talking to you guys a lot, trying to keep you updated, or at points were you kind of just unsure because they were unsure?
Yeah, actually, I wake up in the morning, Thursday morning, and the staff from UFC talk with my coach and say that the media is canceled, and then start with talk with us, like, hey, the weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins is at the same time, and we cancel the ceremonial, so just a face-off like after the weigh-ins, no. So yeah, the communication was close with the staff with UFC. They say, like, if you have any symptoms, like any problem, like start to cough or sore throat or something, you immediately you need to go with the staff and tell, and then UFC tell you what is next for you.
Were you and you brought up, and I'm glad you were honest with it, your fears that you might get it while you're there and stuff like that, and because that's a problem at least here in the U.S. and it seems like a problem in a lot of countries that like the testing, the supplies to do the testing, the actual tests to make sure if a person has it or doesn't, it's hard to find. It's not as all over the place like we all would hope. Was there a point like in the last week or so or more when all the news started coming out, more information about it, how easy it can spread? Was there a point where you're like, you know, the UFC may not be fully sure. Like, I'm not fully sure. Could Formiga have it? Could I be training with a guy that has it? Was there ever even that kind of fear? Like, damn, I'm rolling the dice a little bit because MMA is not a sport where you get the space. Like they're saying to have space. You're all up on each other. Was that a little fear?
Yes, I mean, yes, I mean, I think it's everything is part of the same problem. You are fear. I'm scared in that moment. But to be honest, my mind, I was always was in the same spot. I wanna fight. I need to fight. This is a huge fight for me. So, man, I was scared if UFC cancel the event. Thanks to the government of Brasilia, make the event. The doors are closed for the people, but the fights are still going. So I don't know. I think it's part all of the same. A lot of information, and you always try. I'm always trying to keep calm and be really smart.
Yeah.
Just try to be really healthy. Take my pills of multivitamins, vitamin C, zinc. Stay just healthy to don't get sick, and that's it.
And what I appreciate about you, even though you're an assassin baby and you're still a young man, you're a father and you're thinking like a father. You're doing these smart thoughts like I gotta be safe, I got kids, all those kinds of things, and I appreciate that. But let me talk about the fight because the fight was a huge win for you, a big moment. There was a big moment in the second round where that amazed me, where he got your back, a place he's extremely dangerous. You got to your feet, him on your back, and you pulled I think it was his left hand towards your chest, then kind of jumped and
Yeah.
fell backwards, turning into him, ending up in his full guard on top. It was an amazing technique. Is that something you do often in training and you've done for a while, or was that something you kind of just came up with in the cage?
Man, to be honest, that moment was just instinct.
Wow.
Because I feel the guy in my back, and I start to feel like damn, I need to do something really really fast. I don't want to have this guy in my
Yeah.
back. No, just for the real naked choke, because he can win the minutes of the round,
Mm.
and won the round. So I needed to do something really fast in that moment. Bless you, bro.
Thank you, thank you. I
Correct.
crooked. I did the crook too. I did the crook. But yeah, keep going.
So
Yeah.
no, man, that moment was just instinct. I tried to practice a lot of that Granby roll, the rolling in the
Yeah.
in the fight.
Yeah.
I do like 3 or 4 times, and really really works. So, but exactly that moment in my back was instinct.
By the third round, you seem to have like a really great read on his shots. Him going for single legs. You stuffed a lot of the takedowns. Did a good job when he was able to clinch up a little bit, separate you strikes in those moments. And when he did get your back at one point, like you just mentioned, that roll you did was fantastic, and you were able to get out of it that first time. As the fight came to a close, did you feel a lot of confidence you had won, or did you think, you know what, this is a close fight, I think I might have won, but it's still close, and then when it's close with these judges, you just never know?
Man, I know that is a problem. But to be honest, I have like 2 or 3 years like a professional analyst for UFC in Spanish.
Okay.
So I need to understand the rules of the fights, and I think that helped me too much, because all the the guy who wants is the guy who make more uh, pain, more
Yeah.
damage to his
Mm-hmm.
opponent. On all my punches was really clear. I make more damage to Formiga. Actually, his face after the fight looked like
Yeah.
a lot of scratches and bruises, a little cut
Yeah.
right here. And this my eye was a headbutt in the second round.
Ah,
So
okay.
I make the damage in that fight. The guy, when he has his moments, he just hold me, and never make nothing. No
Right.
damage, no point,
Yep.
never. Just hold, and you can't win a fight with that kind
No.
of
Yeah.
moves.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but now that you have faced him, what did you think of his grappling? And also, was he one of the best grapplers you ever faced, be it in a fight, be it in training? And how big of like a feather in your cap was it to hold your own very well against a guy who's considered one of the very best grapplers in the entire division?
Man, he's amazing. I mean, he's a veteran. He's amazing. His black belt is real. His black belt is real.
Yeah, yeah.
Real. But I don't know. I feel really. I don't know if I'm better in every single fight, but I feel amazing. I never feel like a real danger
Okay.
in the position, because again, the guy just hold me. Never try. Actually, never he tries to the transition to some submission. Armbar just in the first round when he tried the triangle and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
armbar, but after that, I don't feel any single danger in the positions. But I mean, he's really good.
As the days have passed, since the fight, are you feeling that much more grateful considering what we're seeing in the sport? UFC's done for the next 3 weeks. Bellator's closed until May. One champ, all the stuff going on, fights being postponed, canceled. Are you feeling that much more grateful that your fight was able to get in, if people agree with it or not? And if that fight didn't happen, if you didn't get to fight, how much would that have hurt you, like financially, to have gone through a whole training camp and not have gotten your payday?
Man, I feel really lucky for that, because I mean, I have the money, I have the
Yeah,
victory, so I can come to Tijuana and stay safe in my
yeah,
house. I don't have problems like the money or that stuff. But the guys who fought in Columbus
yeah.
or London, they don't have, they don't have the fight, they don't have the money, they don't have nothing, and it's too sad. I hope the guys have the necessary,
Yeah.
money and everything good, because yeah, I'm lucky. Almost don't fight. Maybe the government can sell the event. So in that situation, I feel I'm lucky.
Now that the fight is over, you've returned to that life back in Tijuana. What is it like for you there? What's a coronavirus like Tijuana in Mexico right now? What are the guidelines and things that the state and like federal and local governments you live in has enforced and told you to do in your neighborhood? 'Cause for me, I'm in New York City. It's getting pretty bad here. They're talking about doing like sheltering in place where you have to stay in your house. You really can't go anywhere possibly for weeks. Schools are closed. My kid's doing homework in his room right now. Like, what's it like in Tijuana, Mexico right now with coronavirus?
I heard that. For example, in Mexico City exists cases of coronavirus, but here in my city, in my state, doesn't have any
Okay, good.
any case yet.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
good, but the government start to make something for the situation. Actually, my daughter too. The school cancel the
Mm.
classes, and she's right here. She has his books. She have homework here in the
Mm.
house, and that stuff. But I think the government can do a little bit more. For next last week, um, was a music event like a Vive
Yeah.
Latino, something like
Mm.
that. But like a lot of bands and a lot of people went there. Like 40,000 people.
Wow.
Man,
Yeah.
come on, just watching the situation in the TV and around the world, and you go to some concert. I think the government can do a little bit more here in Mexico.
So in the end, it's really not that bad. Cause say we see it bad in Italy and Spain. Here in the U.S. is getting like it's starting to really pick up in the tens of thousands. So in Mexico, it's really not a big deal. Because if it's not too bad in Mexico City, which is as super populated as even New York City is, even more so. I guess in Mexico, at least you guys aren't having to panic too much just yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I I don't know what I can say. And we are like this. I think it's the same. We are lucky because we have too much people here in the country. More in Mexico City,
Yeah.
it's too much
Yeah.
people. A lot of people go to other country, come back to Mexico. I mean, again, in Tijuana doesn't have any case yet. That is good. But even if the government make a little bit more stuff to prevent the coronavirus, I think is the correct
Yeah.
idea. Yesterday I put in my Instagram a photo eating a hamburger,
Yes,
and
I saw that. The
some
hamburger
guy,
looks so good.
some, it's amazing, bro. But I put the post, and some guy from Spain say something like, "Hey, I can here in Spain, we can go to eat something to the street," and that make me
Yeah.
feel so bad. But because I understand the situation around the world.
Yeah. In the post fight, you mentioned not being a big fan of Deiveson Figueiredo and not liking how he handled his win over Joe Benavidez. Please talk to me about that because it's fascinating. You are such a damn super nice guy. Seeing you annoyed with anybody surprising. So why talk to the world about why Deiveson Figueiredo not your kind of guy?
Man, I love when the people say something like that because hey, I get angry sometimes.
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I mean, it's not just because I love Joe Benavides. It's not that. It's not just that. It's just because you need to be respectful with a guy like Joe. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
He's a legend in this sport, more in the flyweight division. Then you don't make weight.
Yeah.
You don't make weight. Be had some respect for the guy front on you. Joe make weight, make all his
Yep.
training camp, and I don't know. I don't like that. I mean, he won the fight, went to the backstage, start to eat something, start to make like not really funny
Yeah.
jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I don't like too much his attitudes. I don't like too much.
Now, speaking of that, I mean, it perfectly, and in a way, I'm sure you weren't planning this, but it's just your emotion. But, that animosity, that dislike does set up even more so that fight. After the fight, you called, right after in the cage, you called for a title shot, which I loved. I loved it. I know you don't want to step on Joe's toes, but, you've worked a long, hard time to get this point. You should probably be number 3, number 2 ranked right now. Are you hoping that title shot does go to you next after this win? And in a weird way, because of everything getting pushed back because of the virus and fights being canceled, maybe they don't, maybe they just rethink it and hopefully put you in that fight with Deiveson Figueiredo for the title.
I mean, I respect the idea to the rematch between Benavides and Figueiredo. I respect that from Dana White, but I think I'm deserved to be the next challenger for the title after the decision of the company. If if the UFC wants the rematch between Joe and Davison, I can wait. I mean, right now we need to wait for the fucking coronavirus.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I have time.
Yeah.
I have the time. But if Dana White and the company want to give me the title shot against Figueiredo, I'll be ready.
Now, speaking of time, you're going to be home, like you mentioned, Tijuana, just chilling out, trying to be safe. So, like most of us are across the U.S., across the world, folks are staying home, avoiding crowds. Which will, what will you and your family be doing at home to avoid the crowds and the people? Do you have like a long list of things to watch on Netflix or a bunch of movies? Are you going to be playing video games? What will you be doing not to go crazy in the house with kids?
I know it's crazy. Try to entertain
Yes.
my little daughter. No, it's crazy. I mean, just spend time with the family, just play video games, watch Netflix. I have some homework here. I have my Legos here.
Yeah.
So that's I think that's the most important right now. Just spend time here in my house and be like I forget the word, but yeah, stay in the house. Just
Is there are there what are the things on Netflix on your the queue list, the things to watch? Like what's the top 3 that you want to get to, and then what video games are you going to be playing with the kids?
so for example, my little daughter loves the Boss Baby, so I need to watch a baby I love on my day. For I'm lucky because exists the third season right now,
Yeah.
so new episodes.
Okay.
And my daughter wanted to buy. She wanted to buy my the Nintendo Switch,
Okay.
and we can play some Mario Party
Mm-hmm.
maybe. Me, I love Far Cry. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
open
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
I love Far Cry. My girl loves the TV shows. So, man, it's the year 2020. We have a lot of stuff
Yeah, yeah.
to be focusing on how you know.
Alright. Now, the part of the interview I was most looking forward to. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. We're both Funko fans. It's a little Funko show and tell time. I'll show you. I don't know if you're an arm reach of a couple of yours. I'll show you. Now I have a couple here ready. Now let's see. This is one of my favorites. This is Mysterio from the movie. I love this one.
From
Yes.
the new,
Look at
from
that.
the new
Yeah.
movie Far From Home.
Yeah.
Man, it's
Look at
amazing.
that. Look at that. Look at that
I wanted to,
smoke in there.
brother. You need to watch this. Let me show you. One moment, déjame. Okay.
What do you got for me? What do you got for me? Ah, nice. Nice. Oh, I see the Lego homework you're talking about. Quite a collection. Oh, you keep it in the box. Very fancy. Wow.
Of course.
I'm bad. I don't put them in the box. I have to let them be free. Nice. Very nice. Is this your man cave?
This is my homework.
Nice. All right. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Very.
Yeah, man.
All right, I got one more. This is old school. It may be too old school, but there might be a lot of people out there that know these guys. These are from my childhood. We got the Ren and Stimpy. Who knows? Anybody out there with the Ren and Stimpy? Much love to Ren and Stimpy.
Oh.
Nickelodeon.
I have got those.
Ah, nice. Cat I mean, it's Nickelodeon. We both got Nickelodeon, man. Much praise and much love to
Yes, sir.
Nickelodeon, baby.